Before the video starts, I'm doing a giveaway for you guys where you could get some FIFA points for Team of the Season or the World Cup mode. If you are interested, be sure to check out my Twitter for the details, and the link to my Twitter is in the description down below. What is up, guys? It is DMG here, and today we're going to be doing another squad builder. And this team we actually built on stream a couple days ago, and it was pretty fun to build. We built it around one of the Premier League Team of the Season players that was guaranteed to us, and we happened to get Matic. So with Matic, I kind of thought that maybe we could do some type of Serbian squad builder. So not everyone is Serbian, but we kind of built it around some Serbian players, and that led to other players in that league for that particular Serbian. So in the team we do have 86 Donnarumma in goal, then we have Karsdorp at right back, then we have the 85 informed De Vrij, 88 Nesta at center back, and then Team of the Season Ashley Young at left back. In the midfield we have Foot Birthday Florenzi, 88 Milinkovic Savic, and then Team of the Season Matic, like I said before. And then in the attack was the informed Kostic, and then Lewandowski with the 90 rated Muller. Now the thing about this team is that it fluctuated between being literally the best team I had used and one of the more fun teams I had used, to being the worst team I had used and one of the least fun teams I have used. And there's literally no exaggeration there. It was literally both ends of the spectrum there, and not from game to game either. It was literally within the exact same game. They would fluctuate from being amazing to terrible. And I have no idea what really changed, because I personally haven't changed anything. It could have been the opponent, but I really doubt it. So I really think it was more about the players. Now you could be thinking, there are certain things that they were at least consistent at, and then certain other things that they weren't consistent at, like maybe it was just defending that was inconsistent, or the passing or the shooting, whatever. Literally everything was inconsistent about them, because there were times where I would be doing these beautiful build-up plays. Like probably some of the best build-up goals I've had for all of FIFA 18 occurred with this team. And then moments later after the goal, or a few minutes before the goal, I couldn't even just pass the ball. I couldn't even get it from one player to another. There were times where Florenzi literally could not pass it to a player 10 yards away from him. And, and then all of a sudden, 5 minutes later, I'm pinging it between Muller, Lewa, Kostic, Milinkovic, back to Kostic, back to Muller, who just scores, right? So I literally don't know what was going on with the team. So, overall, it was just very, very inconsistent. And I think a couple of the players themselves were kind of to blame for that, in terms of not being with a correct partner, I would say. So, Lewa and Muller are both really good, but maybe don't have Lewa and Muller together, since both aren't extremely pacey, and their dribbling's not they're not insane dribblers or anything like that. So that might have something to do with it as well. But I think just the players themselves kind of were just inconsistent, I would say. So we'll kind of start out with Donnarumma in goal, and for me, he is the most frustrating keeper that I've ever used. He gives up more rebound goals than any other keeper, not just in FIFA 18, but literally in any FIFA. And that, again, literally no exaggeration there, because his reflexes and diving are fine, right? If it wasn't for him conceding, so many rebound goals, he would be a good keeper, not, De Gea or Farman level, but a solid good keeper, a good solid cheap keeper, I would say, right? And he's Italian, and he's from Milan, so you could link him up with that Team of the Year Bonucci. So, if it wasn't for his terrible handling, then he'd be a decent goalkeeper. But he just has this knack of finding the perfect opposition attacker who is wide open for a shot. Literally, he pushes it just perfectly to him. I think in the video that I'm showing, I know I show at least two where it's Mahrez, Kane, and I'm pretty sure there's another one where I can't think of the name. But it's just so frustrating, because I have never had that. I shouldn't say never, but I don't have nearly that big of a problem with Farman, De Gea, Perrin, literally any other goalkeeper I've used. There's never been a problem like that where they push it perfectly to an opposition player. So, in my opinion, Perrin's still a better goalkeeper than him. I would honestly try out Buffon again over Donnarumma, because at this point, Donnarumma has made my shit list, and I will never try him again for the rest of the FIFA. Now for the defense, and even though I said that, this whole team was inconsistent, I would say the defense was the most consistent part. They were pretty solid. There were times where they would just get shredded by through balls. Like there was a time where the opposition player literally just cleared it and then just a through ball straight to Henry, and there was no center backs in sight. I didn't move them because I was moving, trying to get back with my midfield, and he just sent it through. And that's all he did. There was like he was free from literally midfield and on. There was literally no defender. So besides that, though, I would say they were pretty good. Karsdorp at right back. He's a decent cheap option. Maybe try out Fopete Perez, but I mean he's not the worst option you can go with. DeVridge, I don't know how you pronounce it, and then Nesta. They were again decent, not the most insane center backs. You know, I've definitely used better ones, but in terms of just being a solid group, they were decent, right? Again, they were probably the most consistent part of the field compared to, you know, the midfield and the attack. They held it down pretty well. If I got scored on, I could either blame it on myself or some EA aides or, you know, something like that. It was never really 100% on Nesta or 100% on DeVry or 100% on Karsdorp or something like that. So I really did appreciate that. Team of season, Ashley Young. I really liked him. He was a solid left back. He only has 77 strength, which is good, not insane for a left back or an outside back, but it's solid, I would say. But, I mean, very good pace, insane dribbling, passing. He can shoot the ball. You could also put him in the midfield, and he'd be great. But in the midfield, he would have medium work rates, right? He has medium work rates, so in the midfield, it wouldn't be that good. But as an outside back, that's perfect, in my opinion. So, you know, again, as an outside back, I really loved him. I think he's up there in terms of with, you know, Sandro or Alaba, just because he's very good at positioning himself, but he's also very consistent. In terms of everyone else, he's probably the most consistent player in the team. Now on for the midfield, and this is kind of where it starts to get a little bit sketchy. Florenzi was probably the most inconsistent player in the midfield, maybe even the entire team, because there were times where, again, he couldn't even pass it 10 feet away from someone, but then there were times where he would just be streaking up the field and scoring bangers, getting back and getting tackles. So, you know, on his best day, he's one of the best box-to-box midfielders. On his worst day, I would literally subbed him out like at the 30th minute mark just because I was so fed up with him. So very inconsistent with him, unfortunately. Milinkovic, I've used his 86 before, and I enjoyed him. His 88 was, again, the same thing. I feel like I just wasn't using him properly because he didn't get forward as much as I would have liked, or back as much as I would have liked. I really want him to be a box-to-box mid, so if he had high work rates, I feel like that'd be better, but unfortunately that's not the case. But, I mean, his height really came in handy, 6'3", his long shots and shooting was very good, his passing was very solid, his 4-star weak foot was very good, so overall I was pretty happy with him. Matic, and I would put Matic in the middle and put Milinkovic on the left. Matic in the middle, 6'4", medium high, held it down, right? His pace is good, not insane, but it's good, 73. He felt like Vieira. He really did. He would literally catch every single header. He would be knocking literally every single player off the ball. He's probably going to be my best defensive mid player. And the fact that I can link him with Valencia, link him with Bailly, it's going to be ridiculous. So the fact that I also got him in my Team of Season Premier League pack, I couldn't be happier, I'll be honest. Now on for the attack finally. Kostic, probably one of the more consistent players. I actually really liked him. He does only have a 2-star weak foot, which kind of hindered my attack occasionally. But in terms of just being in the right position, trying to make runs forward, I really liked him. He was always kind of sitting in that middle spot. His pace felt really good. He has 91 pace, so it feels really good. But his dribbling's also really good. He just felt faster than like a player around his face. Like he just felt faster than Bale for some reason. He just felt faster than a lot of other players around his pace, and I couldn't really figure out why. So that was really nice. And then the strikers, Lewa and Müller. Müller, I mean, probably the most inconsistent player. His finishing was either hit or miss. He could be, you know, put away against De Gea and Farman, but then he couldn't even get it on target from the PK spot with his weak foot or his right foot for that matter. So that was really bad. And then what makes it worse is his dribbling's not good. It's very apparent how bad his dribbling is, and his first touch as well. Doesn't have 4-star skills, so you can't take advantage of that. Just not that great of a player overall. Like, he can put it away most of the time, I would say, but even then that part's inconsistent, and then everything else about him's not that great. And then finally for Lewa, I really liked him, actually. If I could pair him up with another striker that was maybe pacier, I would really, really like him. I feel like he'd be able to feed off of that. His shooting was nuts. He could pretty much shoot from anywhere and it'd go into the goal. His run making was a little bit disappointing. He wouldn't just run forward for some reason, even though I have him on getting behind. So that was disappointing. But in terms of shooting, dribbling, passing, just link up play, I thought he was just solid. So that's probably going to be it for this video, guys. If you have any ideas for me for any team of season players, just let me know and I'll try to make a squad around them. But like I said, that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been DMG. Peace.